All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are other mediums in which to get this information, but the best place is the blog. For me, that's what I think, because the blog has everything. It has the video, it has the full articles, even the link to the original article. And the blog is free. You don't even have to put your email address in, nothing. So wherever you are enjoying this information, look for more intro, open, some prompt of that nature, and click on that. And the link to the blog is there because it's myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, and that's really long to type in or remember. So it's just easier for me to, and for you, whoever, to just have a link to click on. All right, so I didn't upload yesterday because I don't post regularly, which is why you should follow, link, what? Follow, subscribe, join, whatever. So when I do update, you'll be notified if all things are working as they're supposed to. So today's blog has a ton of articles. There's so much going on. So some of the articles I didn't even from yesterday, I was like, we don't even need to talk about that because that's yesterday. But it's getting pretty serious, right? It's getting pretty serious. So I will be speaking in code, my coded messages, like I do. But that's all the more reason why you should go to the blog, because I point and I say this word here or that country. I'm not going to say that country, but I point to it, and it's easier to follow along. And I have a different perspective than other people in the community, as they say. But that's the wrong community. In Dinar land, that's what I call it, Dinar land. So it's just interesting. Okay, all right. So the with everything that's going on, there's it seems to be clear there's a plan to change the Middle East again, right? It, people, it's 100 years, 200 years, things change, right? So this is a very interesting article. It's not that long either. See? So how do we get out of this impasse? But look at this. Oh, here, let me make it a little larger. Regional economic integration. There's that word, integration, that ends dependence on oil. And I don't see them getting away from oil. Maybe they could do 70-30, right? But we're still gonna need oil. And there's something in the books, I'll say, that even talks about how they'll always be blessed because that's a gift to them, right? But anyway, yeah, so read that if you like. It says oil is no longer a source of wealth, but a tool of depletion. And the result? Draining people's projects of disintegration, and every voice of reform is suppressed or taken out. It's a word that starts with the A. So that to me, it seems like they're really looking into trying to change, but also at the same time, no one wants to end up like Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein, right? Or even here in our country, um, oil is tied to the dollar. And we've had some past presidents who have tried to change things about the dollar, and what's happened to them. They died of what? Lead poisoning, right? That's one of my favorite people I like to watch on YouTube. That's what he says. Because, we have to talk in code. But anyway, yeah, so that is the article. Now, okay, so let's keep going. So this is one, because people, I'm going to say they're talking out of both sides of their mouths, but if you have military plans, are you really supposed to be blasting your military plans across the world? No, right? So, but actions speak louder than words, right? So, our State Department has closed the Jerusalem embassy from Wednesday to Friday. Did I say? Oh, I don't think I did, because I didn't talk to you yesterday. So there's lots of chatter. Now, what's the difference between rumor and chatter? Is there a difference between rumor and chatter? Maybe who it comes from? Um, yeah, so go with that. Chatter, that Thursday is the day, roll time, the day that kablooies from another source will fall upon the smaller country. No, no, because Ice Cream Land is the smaller country. Iraq's neighbor. How about that? But another thing, I don't know if you're being told, because I don't know if you watch alternate news. Tonight was another night they were dropping kablooies on each other. And even, we're going to get to, how can okay, I'm going to put it over here on the front left side of my brain, something to go back to. All right? Okay, so the Supreme Leader came out and said we must deal firmly with Ice Cream Land, but there's the lovely name that they have for Ice Cream Land, and we will never compromise with it, because our oh look, I put that twice. I apologize. I'll have to erase. But because our president came out and said, look, he even tweeted, whoever tweets for the Supreme Leader, and I'm not talking about us. We don't have a Supreme Leader. Some people think we do, right? But anyway, our president said, what is that? Unconditional surrender. So that was how he replied yesterday. The Iran Supreme Leader. That's how he replied yesterday. So things are happening because damage is happening on both sides. Missiles, I just said that. I can't believe I said that. But anyway, kablooies are landing on both sides, and they're tactical, right? They're trying not to hit citizens. So they're targeted to take out electricity now. So it's escalating. They haven't hit oil, or if they did, I think they said it was a mistake. But so if you take out electricity, what goes out next? Internet, banking, right? And so you'll see all of that if you go. So here, internet outage in Iranian provinces. All right, let's see. This was a nice article. I don't know why that font is so big, but the two countries that are in conflict with each other. The conflict has lasted 6 days. That was as of yesterday. So I guess today it's 7 days. And our president called on Tehran to unconditionally surrender. And let's see. Well, it's not here. It is here, but I'm going just as the articles are popping up because I don't want to be here for 40 minutes. the supreme leader. You know what? I bet you I can say that. I'm going to go. No, I don't believe that, right? I don't believe I'm the supreme being in my world, right? Okay. But anyway, so he came out and basically said, that's not how you deal with us. You don't threaten us, and we don't surrender. So I thought that was interesting. Okay, so I'm going to put a period right there, even though I want to say something else. So here, for the first time, Iraq's neighbor uses this certain kablooey. Ballistic is the word. And, oh, here it is. Hypersonic and ballistic. They used it, and the people were freaking out because this is the thing that was, I said I'm going to put on the front left of my brain. Um, Shoot, I thought I put it here. So I am going to have to go out of order. I apologize. Because I want you to see the, I don't know what's different about it, but apparently something is different. Why is this moving so slowly? The trail, I don't know what you call it. The footprint? How about that? The footprint of this kablooey was totally different. And the people were all freaking out because they didn't know. They'd never seen it before. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I told you there was a lot of articles. But also this is this is enlarged for the people who couldn't. Okay, here, we're almost there. We're almost there. So look at that. It kind of looks like a, oh, you know what? I almost said something I'm not going to say. It kind of looks like a fish for people who can't see the image. It kind of looks like a fish with a long tail. And I'm guessing maybe it's louder than the other ones too. But yes, so used for the first time, and there's the name of it. I don't even know how to pronounce that. And they specifically said they're sending it as a message. So this is Iraq's neighbor using this to Ice Cream Land. And I believe it did hit. I believe it made it through the defense mechanism and made it in. So it's morning now, and the Iraq's TV just went off. But usually what they do, so they have different cameras set up, different places that show the damage that they're both doing to each other. They show the kablooies going through the sky, and then in the morning they show them assessing the damage also. So I don't know if you've been hearing how they've caught, I don't want to say caught, they've discovered people leaving on private yachts, just any way they can. And who blame? I don't get angry, but it bothers me that they kind of like make fun of people, basically running for their lives. Wouldn't you? I mean, heck, why he even said, our president even said, yeah, if you're in the city, you might want to leave. And so they're just doing what's going to preserve their life and leave. And I don't think they should be joked about, right? But, that's just me. Sometimes I get uh, sensitive about stuff like that. We're all people. And seeing that there is such a deterioration of the appreciation of life, right? I mean, that's why people can all of a sudden just snuff it out so easily, right? Because we're losing respect, understanding of how precious life really is. All right, so here's another thing. another sign, right? That now this is Iraq. Iraq is even making plans like they're expecting something to happen very soon. Sky Shield over black gold. Iraq fortifies its oil fields with advanced defense systems. Now, why would they do that if they didn't think it's necessary? All right. So here I'm just going to do a summary. This is one of the articles, but I'm just going to tell you what's happening if you don't know. So I think we talked about the H people said, okay, no one's going through the Hormuz Strait anymore. We're shutting it down. It was clear there were ships ablaze, and they were claiming it was an accident, but then Oman had to say, well, yeah, communications were jammed, right? And that's why they bumped into each other. So, um, here's just one of those articles saying, yes, it did happen. Two tankers collided due to aggressive maneuver interference. So there were 3 ships of liquid natural gas that wanted to go through, and Oman was like, let's wait. Let's wait on that. Just hang out here until Friday. Now, why would they say Friday? Why would they choose Friday to say, let's see let's see how the world is on Friday before you try to go through there? But yeah, so, you know, there's still time. There's still time for divine intervention, right? So China calls for de-escalation and warns threats are expanding the conflict in the Middle East. So basically, hey, stop with the threats. If you want to talk, just talk, right? Behind doors. But that's not how we do things, right? No, we broadcast. All right, so here, this was an article, another banking expert talking about the success of the economy requires national cooperation between the government and the central bank, which I thought was interesting because it seems they are cooperating, right? So, and it doesn't say anything new. All the things that, we're looking at, waiting for. Strategic importance of this approach lies in supporting economic diversification as Iraq's economic vision to move away from oil cannot be implemented without a strong banking system that directs funding toward productive sectors, i.e., agriculture, industry, tourism, and technology, and contributes to attracting foreign direct investment. Okay, see, we're at 18 minutes. Here again, Maliki was in the news again. An Iranian ambassador came to visit, and he said, yes, we stand by you. Okay, so that was yesterday. There was another article about that TIR custom thing. So that truck that went through one way, it went from the UAE to Poland through the Iraq pathway or whatever. It made its way back. So it went there, delivered whatever, and it made its way back. So they're all happy about that. So you can read about that if you'd like. Here's another article, warnings of serious repercussions after an Iraqi oil tanker catches fire near Hormuz. So if you want to read that. Now here, this was another another banking meeting, and this could be why the previous article I just read to you, why that one was written. But remember, I was like, I haven't seen Ali Locke for 4 or 5 days. Where is he? Banking reform towards a more efficient banking structure. And so look who's there. There's Sadani at the top of the table, right? The whatever seat that is. And to his right is Ali Locke. And to his right is Muhammad Saleh. Very rare to see Muhammad Saleh in these meetings. And they did show it. That's the four-legged roommate. They did show it on TV too, very briefly. But this was the only article I saw about it. So, and they're just talking about things they've done, the accomplishments they've done, and moving forward with the restructuring plan, the Rapid on First Bank. So, the last episode, there was a very detailed article. I shouldn't say very, a more detailed article about the process of transforming that bank. So I'm thinking all of that stemmed from that meeting, attracting investment, right? Strategic projects, all these things. So see, with everything going on around Iraq, they're still doing their best. In fact, the very last article on the blog is Sadani has declared 2025 the year of Iraq industry. So that, to me, would indicate his country's going to be fine, and maybe he sees de-escalation, right? So here, Iran has been hit by sudden bank closures and blackouts, shocking the locals. So there's in here it talks about using Bitcoin, why you should use Bitcoin. So I thought that was interesting. There's my commercial, and thank you to everyone. And someone even asked me, do I have Apple Cash? I do, but you know what? I don't even know. I know it's on my phone, and occasionally someone will drop something in there because it'll pop up, but I don't know how to get it. I don't know what the ID is. So thank you though for wanting to support. But so there's Buy Me a Coffee. That'll be a live link, and Cash App is $Tishwash. T as in Tom, I, S as in Sam, H, WASH. Okay, so here's for today. These are some of the articles. Now, these are hilarious to me. That our president says next week will be very great. Maybe less. It will all be over. I hope he's right. And then, so if you want to read this, there's some more statements, some more press statements. But look at this. Our president says he has a plan for Iraq's neighbor and confirms, but I make my decisions at the last minute. And he does, right? So, but it looks like, so even right now, there's, I don't want to say rumor, I'm just not going to print it or post it, but it's confirmed by multiple news sites. There's a plan. There's a plan to, um, mm, well, start dropping kablooies, but he hasn't given it to whoever he would give it to put it in effect. Now, and I'm just wondering, is that, what do they say? Not filibuster. Is that another step of just, hey, I'm letting you should come to the table and talk. But if you don't, I've already given the plan. Now I just have to give the word, right? So I'm hoping that's what that is. But, I don't know. All right. So here again is that the image of the new projectile being used for the first time in this area, right? Because I'm fairly certain Russia has used them over, where they are. So here was another ultimatum, and this is dated today. So it's giving them 24 to 48 hours to avoid a U.S. strike. And then meanwhile, oh, this is really good, but meanwhile, Pakistan came out and said they will support Iraq's neighbor. China has said they'll support Iraq's neighbor. Apparently China gets a lot of their oil from them. So if we take over or we harm their oil, then that brings China in the mix, right? So, yeah, not good. So look, someone has, I guess they're fed up enough, because it says parliamentary source, so we don't know who, but they're saying it was Mandelawi who's the prime suspect of manipulating the 2024 budget. So this is the first time that I recall. I remember there was a list of 5 people, but that was it, and you didn't hear anything else about it. So the source, of course, prefers to remain anonymous, right? But they're like, yes, it was him. He did it. But, will anything happen? Oh, I guess I should explain because you probably don't know. Mandelawi is the deputy House Speaker, the first deputy House Speaker. But at the time, Halabusi had been kicked out, so he was the acting Speaker, which, I mean, he had all access, right? To it. So it's like the perfect position to be in. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Are we almost done? Yes, we're almost done. We are almost done. Will Iraq enter the regional conflict? Araji explains Tehran's position and the future of the political system. So it does seem more people are recognizing that Tehran has a very heavy influence in Iraq. And maybe they are for it, for change, that R word, change, because if you have to watch other people's news, oh my gosh, I don't have time to show you. There's Indian news that I like to watch. It's WION, and they did a segment and they interviewed some Iranians who are very happy about what's going on. And they think it would be better for their country if the supreme leader were no longer the supreme leader. Okay, so I was like, wow. But I did translate that, but we're almost out of time. So maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday. But I'll still do. I'm certain I will post. I'm not sure what time. It'll be Thursday, and it'll probably be slow because it's Thursday. But Dinarland tends to have withdrawals when there's no information coming out. So I will, if there's anything worth posting. I mean, if it's all going to just be about we might do it, we might not do it, threats and responses to the threats. I mean, do you really want to read about that? I don't, right? But sprinkled in between all of that, there are money articles. Oh, especially this article was all over the place. Iraqi finance figures show a soft rentier economy. Are there alternatives? And I'm like, of course there's alternatives. Change the rate, get your new money, start giving the people their oil wealth, and you won't have a rentier economy. But so here today on the 18th is another Maliki article. So he's keeping himself in the news every day. And this says there's serious consequences as they enter into another day. All right, let's see. Here's a sign that something's happening, or preparation for expectation of something happening. A source: U.S. aircraft transported personnel from Victoria and Ain al-Assad those are bases, and they took them from the Gulf and moved them to Qatar and Kuwait. All right. Here's Pezeshkian talking to the Emir of Qatar. Okay. Here's the Supreme Leader saying we will never surrender, and any American intervention will cause irreparable damage. Now look, this is what I was saying. Don't think I forgot. I was talking about this. So maybe this is why Mohammed Saleh was in that last meeting. He came out and talked about they're losing $10 million a day, possibly. It says Iraq could face daily economic losses of up to $10 million a day if air travel disruptions persist. And tourism, religious tourism, continues to be interrupted. So this is my first time seeing him speak on something like that. So it's, they're giving all their reasons why they don't want escalation. All right, here. And then here's another form of that. So see, this is Mohammed Saleh, government advisor. A positive oil price shock reduces the budget's need for borrowing, but at what cost? Right? So yeah, oil's up to $76, but what other damage is occurring to the economy, to the country, to the reputations, right? So yeah. All right, and so this is this was a really big meeting article. I'm not sure what they talked about. We're almost done. The president and the prime minister affirm Iraq's categorical rejection of any violation of its sovereignty. So to me, that's like another sign saying, hey, we're over here. You don't have authority to use us. We know what you're trying to do, but don't do it, right? Okay. And, oh yes, Sadar is back. Friday, he wants 2 million, I think. He wants 2 million people out under the slogan, no, no, America, no, no, ice cream land. So why would he do that if he doesn't seriously believe something's going to happen? Why is he calling these people out? We already talked about that. And here's the last article. Sadani declares 2025 the year of Iraqi industry. So if you like, you can go to the blog again. Look wherever you are indulging in this content and click, and all those articles are there. All right. But that is my update for June 17th and 18th.